Richie Brown, one of the better defensive players in recent memory there in Starkville, Mississippi, playing for the Bulldogs, gone off to the NFL Combine and to make his wares in the NFL Draft. Mississippi State trying to replace him and fortify the defense, which was hit up on several occasions throughout the SEC season in 2016. We bring in Ethan Lee from For Whom the Cowbell Tolls, SB Nation. Ethan, let's talk some linebackers. And before we get to the guys that we're going to see this fall, I think we would be remiss not to talk a little bit about Richie Brown. This is a guy that racked up basically 300 tackles in his career.
Yeah, he was a phenomenal athlete, perfect specimen for middle linebacker, had incredible knowledge of the game as well. Wasn't the best in coverage, but did more than enough to see significant action from the get-go when he got to Starkville. He's a four-star recruit and became one of the better linebackers in the SEC, a name that a lot of people probably aren't going to recognize as much nationally just because State didn't have a great year this past year, but he was one of the best in the SEC the past 3 years.
DeAndre Ward, also a main contributor, 56 tackles last year, 4 tackles for loss. So he obviously made significant plays for the defense as well. But you've got a lot of experience back in this unit, not so much on the defensive front that we touched upon in the last segment, but Leo Lewis and Gary Green, significant contributions, Desmond Harris as well. So the linebacking unit looks like it could be pretty good this year.
The first two names that you mentioned definitely going to be getting a lot of attention nationally. Leo Lewis, highly rated guy coming in, sat out and then made a pretty big impact this past year. Really looked like he could take that next step going forward. And Gary Green, just another huge athlete, another big guy, but also moves really well in space. I expect to see a lot of big plays from him this year.
What do you expect out of the defense in its entirety? We haven't hit on the secondary yet, but we talked about the defensive line, and it's got to be exciting, got to be hopeful in regards to the situation along the defensive front, although those guys may step on the field in 2017, but really develop as a unit more in 18 because they're young pups up there. But the linebacker, you're very experienced there. How good do you think the defense can be?
A lot better than last year. Putting that out there, because last year you can't really get any worse than what we saw last year. It was awful. At times it showed promise, but the secondary got torched a lot. The linebackers looked lost at times, and the defensive line didn't always get pressure. Those are pretty big issues. You're bringing Todd Grantham in. You've got this huge recruiting class that was pretty much specifically defense for the most part. And you've got a good group of experience, particularly in the secondary, particularly at linebacker. So I would expect, maybe not top 3 SEC. That would be preposterous. Just make that jump possible, but I don't expect that. Probably somewhere in the middle, 7 to 5, top 5, top 7 to 5 in the SEC.
Yeah, it's a tough go in the SEC Western Division. We all know that. Mississippi State looking to make strides in the linebacking unit will be counted upon based on the experience and the production coming back despite the loss of Richie Brown. Ethan Lee from For Whom the Cowbell Tolls, SB Nation's platform for Mississippi State. Ethan, we always appreciate you breaking things down and catching us up on the Bulldogs.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.